Yes. Welcome to the channel, everybody. How's everybody doing out there? This is Mr. Yee Yee. You already know who I am. I'm Mr. Yee Yee. And thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for being here today. And today is going to be a great, nice little show for you guys. Mr. Yee Yee has been so busy doing so many things, but it's been a blessing from being busy with the business to networking with other businesses, collaborating with other businesses, and just being there for so many people that I'm getting so many people who's reaching out to us now, and it's an absolutely blessing. I salute all of you, and I do this for you guys. All I ask is that you guys hit that like and subscribe button, support the movement, and leave a comment below. If you can share this channel to your social media platform, if you could share this channel to another hauler or junk removal business, you think they need some help, they need some motivation, they can reach out to us, and they can hear the words of the Yee Yee, because the Yee Yee spits that knowledge for you guys. And this is just what we do here. You know what I mean? But we got a good show today. Today's episode is all about junk removal science. The Yee Yee is the mad scientist right now of junk removal. And we're doing this show for you guys. Took some time out of my day. It's a beautiful day. We got the natural light in front of us that we're going to use. We're not going to use a lighting in here, but it's looks kind of good in here. And it's a very nice, beautiful day out here in Northern California. But how's everybody doing? And let's get into it. How's everybody doing getting that money right now with junk removal? If you're doing junk removal full throttle, if you're doing junk removal on the side, if you're just doing junk removal, period, you're getting that money. Welcome to the brother and sisterhood of junk removal. And today we're going to talk about just that junk. You know what I mean? And I've been seeing a lot of situations out there. I watch a lot of social content. I watch a lot of you guys out there. A lot of you guys probably don't realize, but I do watch, and I see a lot of you guys on your beautiful reels. I see a lot of people really touching base and trying to get into their digital marketing, their digital advertising, and I see a lot of people competing with each other on social platforms, and it's beautiful because when we have so many people in the business, it makes you be more creative, and it makes you want to get out there and do more. And how could I get out there? How could I do more? What do I need to do? And today's discussion is just about junk talk. We're not going to get too deep into it, but what we are going to talk about is what works for you. You know what I mean? The junk removal science, because there's a science to this that we do in junk removal. And I think a lot of people may be getting it miscombobulated right now, because junk removal is a whole different junk removal than junk removal 4 years ago. I'll tell you that right now. It's actually bloomed, and it's actually going somewhere where nobody ever thought it would go. Junk removal, probably a lot of people didn't even know about junk removal, really, unless they seen the big corporate, unless they seen the big franchise companies. And there's so many people out there right now who want to be like the franchise companies, and are buying these beautiful trucks, or what I mean, wrapping them, getting their beautiful uniforms, and trying to have this look. And hey, there you go. Do what you got to do. If that's the look you want, if that's what you do, handle it. You know what I mean? But let them know who you are. I salute you. And but the science of junk removal. I think the science of junk removal is just so many forms. It's like physics. It's just so many things in junk removal that people just don't really realize that you got to do. You got to master this. This is one big, this is one big laboratory. Your business should be one big laboratory where you have to come up with so many creations, and what I mean, put it all together until you find that right, what I mean, potion, or what I mean, a recipe, what I mean, or you find that code that cracks everything and fixes everything, and what I mean, you have it now. You have that code. You put all these things together, and now you have a freaking project that's working right for you. And but I think the number one thing you got to have when you're in that laboratory and you're creating this science of junk removal, you got to have time, because this business really takes a lot of time. I'm trying to tell you, there's no one in this business who could just jump in this junk removal pool and start to, you know what I mean, swim 1,000 laps and nonstop. Uh-uh. There's so many people finding out now in junk removal that it's not really as easy as you think it is. A lot of people think that wrestling is fake. Try jumping in that ring with one of those superstars that does professional wrestling. Try to jump in that ring with them, and see how it feels to get body slammed, or see how it feels to get DDT'd. Ugh. You know what I mean? Diamond Dallas Page. But you know what I mean? I'm that old. But see how it feels for somebody to jump on top of the top ropes, Coco Beware, gaga, all of from the top of the ropes, all the way on top of you, and you see if it's fake. And you know what I mean? I'm just trying to tell you. You know what I'm saying? So, wrestling's not fake, but it is entertainment. Junk removal is not easy. And this is the science of junk removal. You know what I mean? Let people know who you are. Let your community know who you are. You know, let all the local businesses know who you are. Let your competition know who you are. That's most important to me is, let your competition know who you are, because the competition knows who you are. They're going to be watching, and they're going to be, you know what I mean? There's a lot of competition that watches the Yee Yee, and I welcome it. No problem. You know what I mean? But, you know what I mean? You might be able to outlook me, but you'll never be able to outthink me. I'm trying to tell you that. You know what I mean? I'm well seasoned in this part of life. Not just junk removal, but just in life. But you know what I mean? And it's just, junk removal, the science, it's just you gotta put your time in, you gotta put your work in, because now we have a thing called, you know what I mean? People are really, 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 really diving deep into right now SEO and AI, chat GBT. There's so many people who have a product for you, an ebook, a course for you, training for you. I can show you how to do this, I can show you how to do this. And there's just so much to it right now where it's kind of mind-boggling. If you're probably frustrated with if you're probably frustrated with it, you're probably stopping your social media right now, and you're probably like giving social media up for a while just by just watching. And I don't blame you, because sometimes you have to reset your brain, because it's just like junk removal has blew up overnight, and I'm a living a testimony of that. I'm Mr. Yee Yee. You know what I mean? I've came this far. You know what I mean? And now, people are knocking on my door, supporting the situation. And, I'm collaborating, I'm linking up. And that's what it's all about. You got to understand that the science of this is not just junk removal. If you can open doors and you can profit from this and you can help people out, that's what it's about for me. Helping people out, profiting from it, and becoming a brand. Building your business, because my business is not just junk removal. My business is me, the Yee Yee character, my brand, networking, collaborating, profiting. These are all things that I love to do. And you know what I mean? I'm getting there. I'm doing that. And now I'm reaping the benefits of it. But everything I do for you guys. I put this content out for you guys. You know what I mean? I show you guys how to get discounts right now with you guys. You know what I mean? And I'm putting all this content out. The hard work is paying off. But a lot of people don't realize that running a full-time business and then trying to be a content creator, trying to post, trying to add images, trying to update, trying to do this, trying to keep up with social media, that's not that easy. We only have 24 hours in a day. You know what I mean? And a lot of you guys are out there witnessing it right now that it's not easy. But the Yee Yee, I make it look easy, but this is just what I do. You know what I mean? I make time to put this content out here. I make time to bring this content to you guys. I make time to post my content. I make time to share it with the world. That's not easy, stopping what I got to do. You know what I mean? And I'm just blessed at that. You know what I mean? So, there's just so much to junk removal, from campaigning. And let's break down the let's break down the beginning of it, the science of the beginning of junk removal, what you should be creating your potion as you're in a laboratory with junk removal. You know what I mean? Can you do this? You know what I mean? Should you do this, and why should you do this? you know You know what I mean? It's not really hard. You know, the only hard thing is just to get that phone to ring. And you know what I mean? I think when you start this business, you should already be aware of, you know what I mean? How could I get my name out there in the interwebs? How could I get seen on the interwebs? How could I get seen on all the social media platforms? You know what I mean? Because you got to be on all the social media platforms. You got to be on the Facebook. You got to be on the Instagram. You got to be on the TikTok. You got to be on the YouTube. There's just so many things where you got to be part of. And that's just it. If you're not part of those things, it gets a little bit hard, but you got to be willing to be there to get there. It takes time. And, first thing, you know what I mean? As you enter the laboratory, you got to get those things together. You know what I mean? You got to be, what am I going to call myself? A lot of people put too much pride into their business name and maybe put their name part of it, or you know what I mean. It's just basic science is like basic, just junk removal and whatever's around you. It doesn't have to be your county. It doesn't have to be this. It doesn't have to be this. But I highly recommend it's junk removal. You know what I mean? Junk removal. That's a big keyword right there for the SEO. Junk removal. Hauling is another keyword, but junk removal, it's junk removal. Everybody's typing in junk removal. That should be a big part of your name right there. You know what I mean? And that's just it. If you do junk removal LLC, try that. Who cares? You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? A lot of us have already a little bit of knowledge about social media. That's where it's going to help you out. You know, uh, I highly, highly recommend linking up and reaching out to other haulers in your area. You know what I mean? Because there's always going to be some haulers who are going to help you, are going to give you a hand, are going to, what I mean, give you a little bit of knowledge, or refer you to someone who can help you out with this. But then there's also going to be some haulers in your area who are bitter, who are haters, who don't want to see you rise up, who just, what I mean, hate on you, or just think about or assume things about you, and they know really nothing about you. You know what I mean? And that's what's the killer is that, you know what I mean? You know, when they don't know anything about you, they really hate you until they get to see what type of good dude you are, or gal you are, or couple you are. There's a lot of couples out there right now killing the game. There's a lot of, you know what I mean, people getting into junk removal because it's so popular right now. But you know, with that said, you know what I mean, build your brand, get your name out there, and go out there and let everybody know who you are. You know what I mean? A lot of people will tell people. There's a lot of content creators out here who are say, go get yard signs. Go let them go let them know who your yard signs out. Go see them. But there's a lot of big time YouTubers, content creators. They're not putting out their yard signs. You know what I mean? Because I'll be guilty if I say I do. I haven't put a yard sign out in probably over a year. I just don't need to. I just don't feel the need in my area that I have to put yard signs because for one, I'm already highly, highly recommended in my cities that are around me. I'm already highly known. My social media presence is already highly known. My Google, my GMB is highly, as we see now. You know what I mean? Highly ranked in my area, and just being part of all the social media platforms and keep on adding, keep on adding, keep on adding, and my phone keeps on going off. So but not all jobs are your jobs. But you know what I mean? That's just what I'm talking about. That figuring out this potion, this science to junk removal, and now social media is a big part of junk removal. I mean, like it's like at its peak right now. You know what I mean? Especially with all the reels. People are doing so many reels now and being more creative. You have these apps. You have the InShot app. You have a CapCut app. You have the new app with Instagram Edits app. You have so many editing apps. You have your iPhone movie on. If you have an iPhone, there's iPhone movie. You can edit things, and there's just so many things that you can help now with your editing. And I suggest that you learn that. I suggest you learn how to edit. Learn how to edit with these apps and create these videos, or put these collages together with your photos, and maybe you could do a voiceover, or just it's just unbelievable. Or just be you. Just be you. The science of life is you. You know what I mean? You're the DNA. You know what I mean? Just be you. You'd be surprised that there's a lot of, you know what I mean, people who say that they'll build you, you know what I mean, the right website. They'll build this website, they'll do this, they'll this, but all you're gonna look is like them. And there's so many people who so many clients who say, man, I liked your website. It was just you. When I first logged on to it, I seen you and your picture and you and your wife. I seen you, the same person who I see all over social media. When I went on your website, I seen you, and I seen all the pictures, all the photos of you. They didn't know about backlinks. They didn't know about H1 pages. They didn't know about regular pages. They didn't know about this or that, this or that. They didn't know SEO. They're a client. All they knew was my website looked very organic. They could tell that I put time into building that website, and it doesn't look like, overwhelming. Like, so much things to read, and they were just like, it was just straight to the point. And that's just what I like, that, you know, I, what I mean, created that. I built my own website, GoDaddy. I built my own website. But, I needed, after a few years, I decided that I wanted some help with my website. And, you know what I mean, far as ranking and being out there in the social media world. And, so, we'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. But, I had to go out and get some outsource and, get some help, because I needed some help. I seen it firsthand that my website was not ranking like I thought it was. Yes, I had all my Google reviews. I had so many Google reviews, and I'm like, yes, I'm not even I wasn't even verified, because I was going through a whole situation with Google, and I was being stubborn, and I wasn't verified for over a year. And you know what I mean? I had to learn the hard way, like, whoa, I'm not ranked. I don't have a map. I don't have a pin on my map to show Google or AI or ChatGPT where I'm located, and all these people in my area searching for this service based on my pin on my map. I just had a big service area. So, just things that you have to learn, that you're going to learn. And now you have so much help, from YouTube University to TikTok University. There's so many people on TikTok now who are just like gurus, and you know what I mean? And like, hey, if you're going to listen to them, if you're going to go with them, if you're going to listen to them, and handle your business. There's so many people putting out so much content, and but for me, it's very hard to listen to somebody with less than a year in the game. And when I go on there, because I do a lot of research. I look at people's websites, I look at people's GMB, and I see this person only got 30 Google reviews, but they're putting out this content like they're a pro, like they're a guru of junk removal, and they're just like, ah. But then I ask them, I look and see if they even have a YouTube. They don't even have a YouTube. So but then I look at their website, and it looks like everybody else's website, just cluttered. And it's just, I could tell that they paid someone to do that, and you know what I mean. They did this, they did that, but they might have did the wrong thing. And even though you get a nice website made, doesn't mean it's ranking high, as a lot of people are witnessing that right now with their websites. And they're seeing, when we have these people on our shows who are the best of what they do, you know, uh, they get called out, and they say, wow, I thought my website was ranking, but it really wasn't. And but you're gonna learn. That's all the science of junk removal. You're gonna learn all this type of stuff, but you gotta learn. But now junk removal is a whole different ball game now. Junk removal is like, everybody's in competition with each other. You don't even have to be in competition with the people in your area now. People are in competition with each other on social media. People are trying to look the best on social media. People are trying to outlook each other on social media. My content looks better. I got this. I posted this. I posted this big job. You know what I mean? What social media means now, what social media means now to me, far as Instagram and well, I'll tell you what Facebook means to me first. What Facebook means to Mr. Yee is connecting and letting all of my people in my county and surrounding cities know who I am. That's what Facebook is for me. Facebook is because I am running Google. I am running Facebook ads, and you know what I mean. I highly, highly recommend, if you guys are going to run Facebook ads and you need some help with Facebook ads and you need any type of information about Facebook ads, I'm gonna leave a link below. Make sure you guys reach out to Top Dog Digital Solutions. Blake Short, that's the man. I'm trying to tell you guys. I'm gonna leave his link below. All you got to do is tap that link, and you can book a online call with him, and tell him Mr. Yee Yee sent you, and you might get taken care of through that link. But make sure you use that link for your Facebook ads, because we're gonna make another video about that, of how Mr. Yee Yee's Facebook ads are going, and you know but so for me, Facebook is just about letting my before when I letting my my clients and my future clients know who I am, because I have a lot of clients who see my Facebook and they keep on using me too. But then I have a lot of clients who haven't future clients who haven't used me yet. And the more they see you, 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 eventually they say, okay, I'll try them. That's how it is. But they have to see you. And you know what I mean? A lot of people post, this content, but it kind of looks the same. So I like to mix it up. I like to mix it all up. So that's why I got with a professional team. I got help from the professionals how to run my Facebook ads. So, but that's what Facebook means to me, is, reaching out to clients and future clients and potential clients. That's what Facebook means to me. Facebook to me does not mean that I post 1,000 pictures anymore to show my competition what I'm doing. Facebook doesn't mean that. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get business uh, through my friendships around Facebook, and you know what I mean. That's just not me. I just don't participate in that anymore. And Instagram's another good thing, because it's owned by Meta. Meta owns Instagram, and you know what I mean, Instagram and Facebook are linked together. You could post a reel on Instagram and it will go all the way to your Facebook. So that's two birds in one stone right there, if you learn how to market that. Even on Instagram in our area, Northern California, Solano County, you know what I mean, the Vacaville, Fairfield area. I personally, I don't even get business off of Instagram. But I find myself posting on Instagram. So I told myself, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna post on Instagram like that no more. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna do this on Instagram anymore. I'm gonna put this content out there for you guys to see what I do, how I'm advertising, how I'm marketing, how I can help you save money with discounts and everything. That's what I'm gonna put on my Instagram, because I don't really get business from Instagram. That's just, I don't know other states how they do it. You know what I mean? I know other businesses, other junk removal businesses, who are just like killing it on Instagram, but I just don't. It's not the yee. I'm trying my best, but I see a lot of people in Northern California, you know what I mean, post on Instagram and do this on Instagram and post and post and post. But you know what I mean? It's very good to keep, you know what I mean, posting on Instagram, to keep your algorithm, and keep, you know what I mean, letting AI see it, letting, Google see it, and just, being on all the algorithms. But as far as like everyday posting, it's just not me on Instagram. You know what I mean? You guys could let me know on a link below if that works for you guys on Instagram, or are you just doing it for your competition to see it and all this type of stuff? Because I think a lot of us have it miscombobulated, where we're actually showing our competition more than we want to show our potential clients, and that's just what I don't do anymore. You know what I mean? And that's not my science. I'm the mad scientist right now of junk removal, and but what I do want is to get more attention from clients, potential clients, businesses, local businesses. That's who I want to get my attention. That's who I want to attract. And that's what I do. So, you know what I mean? That's where, you know what I mean? I had to figure out my science. I had to figure out what worked for me. Why am I getting all these Google reviews? I just got 2 more Google reviews today. You know what I mean? Today's Sunday. I already had 2 jobs booked. I just got 2 more Google reviews today. So I got one yesterday also. So uh so yeah. So that's what I got. You know what I mean? That's what I'm getting, all these reviews. I almost forgot what I was saying for a second. But I'm getting all these reviews, and then you know what I mean? Why am I not ranking high? You know what I'm saying? Why am I, I'm ranking high on my own cell phone. If you go on your own cell phone, you're on the top page. but that's because you're always looking at your website. So it's always going to point you to right there. But if you had a friend look at your website, or a family member who's not by you look at your website, you might not even be on the first 5 pages. You might be on like the 6th page or 7th page. A lot of people are not going down that far. I'll tell you that right now. People's attention span right now is the size of a net. When you're trying to sleep and you hear that freaking net, mosquito. That's the size of people's attention span these days. They don't have time for that. They don't have time to go through a post that you just did with 16 pictures. They don't have time for it. You know what I mean? They don't even kind of even want to look at a before and after picture no more. They like to see like a reel that just pops up out of nowhere. There's so many jobs I've got that it's because they seen my video or my reel that just popped up out of nowhere, and it just caught their attention. You know what I mean? So, but I thought I was ranking so high with all my Google reviews, and I was like, man, what's going on? Nope. Nope. I had to learn that the hard way. But I went out and got help. We'll get back to that in a minute. But me, I'm just a normal guy. I'm just like you guys out there. I'm a guy with a truck and 2 trailers. And my 2 trailers are working so good for me. And it's just so good that, one trailer is always ready to be in action. One trailer is always ready. I don't have to keep on going to the landfill. I don't have to rent vehicles. To me, it's mind-boggling if you are well established in this game. You've been here for years. You have these vehicles, you have this, you have that, but you still have to rent a U-Haul truck, or you have to rent a vehicle, and you're driving it. If you're well seasoned in this game, and you have to rent a vehicle and you have to drive it, that's bananas. You might want to go back to the blueprint, go back to the whiteboard, and rethink that. Why am I renting a U-Haul and driving a U-Haul still? Because I don't think you would ever see 1-800-JUNK renting a U-Haul. I don't think you would ever see the big franchise companies renting a U-Haul. I don't think you would ever see me. I've rented a U-Haul truck one time. I rented a U-Haul truck one time, and I didn't even need it because I dropped off my truck at the dealership, and I thought it was going to take a day or two. And they were like, no, it's already ready. But I already rented a truck because they didn't have a rental for me. They usually have a truck rental for me at the dealership. That's why I go there. So I rented the U-Haul truck. But, shout out to the people who are renting trucks. I think the people who do need a U-Haul truck are the people who don't have vehicles, or are just starting this business, and they're seeing if it works for them. And I know a lot of people who have started with U-Haul trucks, but then I know that they get out of that after a while because they see how much money they spend on gas. They see how much money they spend on the U-Haul truck. They see how much money they spend on the U-Haul insurance. They see how much they got to pay for help to help them load that. But then you also have to unload it. So they see how much time that they're spending. So with that said, it's just bananas. If you're years into this business and you're still renting U-Haul trucks, you may want to go back to the whiteboard and redo things, because obviously you don't have it. You don't have it figured out yet. You think you do, but you don't. That's just a little tip from Mr. Yee. Take it how you want. But you know what I mean? With that said, you know what I'm saying? Me, my truck, and my 2 trailers does so much for me. You know what I mean? I'm taking my time to grow. I'm taking my time to see what I need. I'm taking these first 1 through 5 years to realize what I need. And you know what I mean? I've been telling myself, me and the wifey, Mrs. Yee, been telling ourselves, yes, we want a dump truck, but I'm not going to go out there and pay, you know what I mean, almost 80 grand. I know my dump truck, if I buy a brand new dump truck, it's going to be over 80 grand because I want all the bells and whistles. But you know what I mean? I can do almost the same thing in my trailer and truck that dump truck does. Especially with 5-foot walls and being 3 feet above ground and then 5 feet, that's over 8 feet right there that you have to throw things over on the side. Not going to happen for me. Doesn't work for me. You have to go everything from the back and throw it in now. Not going to work for me. So, me, if you're making that much money and you're ready for a dump truck, then you better do it smart. I recommend you do it smart. If you can pay it, if you can buy a used one, buy a used one. If you have enough money to put down half the money down on a dump truck to make your payments half the size, that's what you should be doing. There should be no reason that you should be going and buy a brand new dump truck and your payments are over $1,000. That gets old fast. Trust me. Trust me. Yeah, you see, I'm making so much money. Da, 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 da. There's gonna be those days where you're not making money and the truck sits there, or you know what I mean. You have so many things going on that you don't trust anybody to drive that truck. Anyways, you know what I mean. What I'm trying to say is that Mr. Yee Yee is I rather built me a dump truck. I see so much things. I'm on Facebook Market. I'm watching all these guys' videos and this and that and this and that. I'd rather make my own dump truck. I'd rather buy a 3500 a 3500 single cab, you know what I mean, regular cab, and have the nice beautiful frame with the suspension from the 3500 or 35 or 45, you know what I mean, that has a suspension dually, and you can put a 12-foot box on it. You can put a 12-foot. My junk removal business, I have to have a 12-foot box. It's got to be 12 or 14-foot box. I can't go with the 5-foot high sides because I got to throw things on the side. I got to throw things. I can't go. I can't only rely on the back of this. Not gonna work for me. You know what I mean? A lot of people are witnessing that too with those beautiful dump trucks. You know what I mean? That you're like, man, I can't throw things over the side. It's just too tall. Not me. You know what I mean? I got to be in, out, in, out. Time is money. I don't have time to pull out these special gadgets and these toys that people have that really don't work for some of us. Some of us, it does work. But for me and my team, we got to get in and out. And that's just it. Let's go. Back that trailer up, put that trailer on the side, throw everything on the side, throw everything from the back, throw everything from the front. No problem. When I go to apartment complexes, I got to be able to duck underneath the carport. So I got to build me a special truck, but I'm going to build a special truck, or I'm going to buy a used truck for a quarter of the price. I guarantee it. You know what I mean? I've done so much homework on it. I just think a lot of people, you know what I mean? They want that look. They want this, they want that, but they're really not ready for it. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? But, you might be ready for it. You might be ready for that and go handle your business. But I'm telling you right now, I'm just a guy with one truck and two trailers. And you see all these fingers? I got more yees than these fingers to help. That's the big problem right there, is a lot of people get in junk removal and they don't have the help. I got so much help right here. Oh my God. I showed you guys how to have a scrap metal, guys. I showed you guys where to throw this at. I show you guys where to throw that at. I show you guys where to. I link up with so many people. It's because it's who I am. It's who I am. It's the character who I am, that I relate to people, that I'm very social. I'm very talkable to people. So I receive a lot. You know what I mean? Because I give a lot. As in, I give a lot of respect, but I receive so much more back. So, that's what's going to keep you going in this business, and linking up with haulers in your area and figuring out who are the right ones to use, who are the right ones to work with, and who are the ones you just want to stay away from, who are babies in the game, and you know what I mean, so immature and young minded, and they don't even really know what they're doing. I'm trying to tell you, you know what I mean. And you know that's just it. You know what I mean. I didn't start my business to work hard 50 hours a day, 7 days a week. I started my business to have control of my life. And that's the science of what I do, is having control of my life. And you know what I mean? That's just it. You know what I mean? And if you figure these things out, these things take years. I guarantee you. If you think you have this all figured out in 1 year, no, you don't. No, you don't. I tell you that right now. I'll rain on your parade. I'll shit in your cereal. No, you don't. Trying to tell you guys, no, you don't. You know what I mean? But anyways, you know what I mean? With that said, that's just, you know what I mean, some of the science that I think junk removal, you know what I mean? And, now let's get to what's been helping me to become this mastermind, this mad scientist of junk removal. You know what I mean? You know what it took me? Networking, listening, following, and just seeing everything people are doing. And I realized I needed help with I wanted my Google My Business to be on steroids. I wanted my GMB to be on steroids. I wanted my a website to be juiced. I wanted my website to just like have everything, everything. But I had problems. I went to YouTube. I created all my pages. I created this, but what I mean, far as backlinks, far as H1 pages, far as links, far as blogs and all this type of stuff. I try to do it all, but it just took me so much time. It took me so much, what I mean, man, man, it's really techy. You really have to have a lot of time. And I like to spend my time other places, far as working, meeting clients, and just taking care of things around the house, and just in life. And but I needed help, and I wanted my Google My Business, I wanted my GMB to be ranked all the way up, and now I want my Google My Business to have several locations. I want my Google My Business to just be everywhere, be powered number one. I want to be number one in my area on GMB, and you, I said, man, my website's going to need a little bit of help too. So what I did was I reached out to Rank Fortress, and trust me, it helped me so much reaching out to Rank Fortress. William Jones and all his teams, and you know what I mean. They helped me out within the first month. I was already boom. Within the first month, I was already greens. You know what I mean? No reds already. And if you got all the Google reviews, you got all the updates, this is something that you have to add to your junk removal business, because it's going to help you rank higher, and they're going to help you tweak everything with all the keywords, with all the proper SEO. They're going to help you. And it's just been amazing. You know what I mean? I reached out to them. We collaborated. We talked. We had them on the, Paulie had them on the Forget About It Friday show. Make sure you guys reach out and follow Forget About It Junk Removal on YouTube, and Paul Talia on Facebook. Guys, you know what I mean? Reach out to those guys, and you know what I mean? I'll leave the link in below so you can tap in with those guys, and you know what I mean? Paul Talia has a lot of knowledge, what he's been doing with junk removal and helping everybody out, as far as the YouTube world, collaborating with everybody and getting answers that people like to hear and all that other crazy stuff. But you know what I mean? We had William Jones, and I said, man, you know what? I need to work with this guy to help me out. But you know what I mean? I don't want to use those other guys who charge you a lot of money. But then I rather go stop going through the middleman, and I want to go straight to the connect. What is it going to take me? So I had to make a call to the Philippines. You know what I'm talking about? And I didn't call the Philippines. Just went on the website, booked the online, you know what I mean, appointment. They reached out to me that same day with them, no problem. You know what I mean? We booked an appointment, and we did a Zoom meeting, and I explained to them what I wanted, what I expect, and they were on it. Just like that, within 1 month, I was already boom. Then, you know what I mean? I started to see my website. Like, oh, look at these blogs. Oh my God, look at this. They added this. They added that. They added this. And they keep on adding things and updating things. And, I got the SEO premium package where, 1 million words and all this stuff. And, a lot of stuff I couldn't even figure out myself, but I seen it because I always check my website, and I was seeing the change. Then I started to see my GMB change, like all my updates. I started to see these guys, update my updates, like reword my own updates and add things to like that I was not adding, or I failed to put these keywords in my updates and all this because I didn't know. But when I start seeing these guys doing what they're doing, and I say, oh wow, that makes sense. Why wouldn't I want to put my website on my update? Why wouldn't I want to put my map location on my update? Why wouldn't I want to put my name? It was just common sense, but I had to go to the pros over there at Rank Force, you know what I mean? And get it done the right way with that SEO. They made my website, my GMB, SEO powered up, juiced. You know what I mean? So I recommend, if you guys need help with SEO, Go reach out to those guys. Then also, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna forget, Blake Short, Top Dog Digital Solutions. I reached out to Blake and said, we Paulie had him again on his show, and I said, hey man, I had Blake on the Yee Yee show. You guys, you know what I mean? Look at one of my videos. You can see one of my videos with Blake Short and Digital Top Dog, and he's going to be at the Junk Expo also. But so is William Jones with Rank Force. He'll be at the Junk Expo also. So I think he's going to have a booth. I think uh, uh, Blake Short's going to have a booth, and I reached out to Blake also for that for that. You know what I mean? Those Facebook strategies. I reached out to Blake Short about those Facebook strategies and seen, hey man, I want to start running some ads. I want to see how it works because we're all like, you know what I mean, iffy about Google because Google's expensive. But how would you know Google's expensive if you didn't even use them yourself? If you're just going off what people say. So I decided to be this guinea pig with Facebook, and I've reached out to Blake, and you know what I mean. It's just me and Blake are working together. It's cool. Blake's a cool dude. His whole team out there, they're very responsive. They get back at you right on time. They help you out with the CRM. They help you out with booking clients, booking the jobs. They do all the work for you that they're supposed to be doing that they say they're going to do, and they try their best for you. And Blake, you know what I mean, is a good dude, and I really trust this guy over there. And you know what I mean. These are all the little things I'm putting together in my lab for the Yee Yee science. And you know what I mean? It's helping me out. And I'm not having to go out and do this and do that and do this because these guys are doing it for me. You know what I mean? It's not because I'm paying them, but it's because, you know what I mean, this is what they do. They're pros at that and they care about me and they're helping me out. And my phone, you know what I mean? I just got off I just came back from Carmel on vacation, and you know what I mean? We came back Thursday, and then Friday, and then Friday, we had a few jobs. Then yesterday, Saturday, we had 7 jobs. So I'm trying to tell you guys that, by being seen everywhere, by having the algorithm, by having the right SEO, by, you know what I mean, reaching out to the right people, the right pros, Rank Force, William Jones will help you out with all of your SEO and blast you to the top, guaranteed. And now there's a 25% off offer if you mention Mr. Yee Yee and the 25% discount. But you got to mention it. If you don't mention it, then you miss out. That's just it. But, also reach out to, working with Blake Short. Reach out to Blake Short and, you know what I mean, tell him that Mr. Yee Yee sent you and, get taken care of on your Facebook ads. And, that's just what it's all about, networking. You see, I like to network with everybody. I like to see what works right for Mr. Yee Yee. The science, putting it all together in my laboratory, making the right potions and putting it all together so it all sticks together. The physics of junk removal. And that's just what I like to do. You know what I mean? Whatever's going to help me, because we're almost in 2026 where the game is changing, where people are just they're not even looking at things now. They're just like, junk removal near me, junk removal business, junk removal Fairfield, California. And names are popping up, businesses are popping up. It's that easy. I had a job Saturday that they called me out of nowhere because they went, you know what I mean? And it was like, wow, wait a minute. You know what I mean? I went to this family's house. I went to an apartment. It was, man, the apartment was kind of bad, but we don't judge. But the family who called me, I said, man, I don't think they can afford junk removal. So I went in there. I said, man, this is bad. I see a young kid in there. And I said, man, this is bad. And I went in there and they were like, we need this, we need that, we need this, we need that. And I said, man, it's going to be this price. And they were like, whoa, we can't afford that. So I said, man, what's going on here? What's really going on here? And they're like, well, we're being evicted and we have to get out by tonight. And you know what I mean? We were hoping that you can give us a good price to remove all these things, because we're moving. I seen the moving truck in the front, everything, and I said, wow. I seen a little kid there, so I said, how did you hear about me? And they're like, oh, we just seen you, whoop, 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 and we called you. And they barely spoke any English, but I was like, this type of situation that they usually have a lot of cousins, a lot of family. You know what I mean? Who can help them? Somebody got a truck that can help them. But I think because the situation that they were in, their pride was out there and they were kind of like embarrassed to ask anybody. But I seen the kid there, I seen their situation, they talked to me. And me, I'm about giving more than I receive, because I believe in the more I give, the more I'll get back in the future. And that's how I work. That's how I am. That's the Christian guy in me. Thank you, Jesus. You know what I'm talking about? And that's just who I am. I like to help out a lot of people. I give more than I get because I know I'll get it back 10 times more. That's how I work. So I went in there, I gave them this price, and I just can't. The whole moral of the story is I can't believe that they called me and they found me on social media and they speak barely a little English, but it's the power of social media and being everywhere, and they know how to reach you and being available, because a lot of times a lot of people are not available because you have too much on your plate, you have too much going on, and you're doing too much, and you're still behind that wheel, but you want to be this power unit, right? But you can't, because you're still behind the wheel. You're still doing this, you're still doing that, you're not answering calls in time, your response time is terrible. That's where the guys like me come in and hit them, because I'm always available, always have my phone on me, I'm always ready, I always have my team with me to help out and do that. I don't have to really do all these things, but I do anyways, but because I show my team that I can work and do it also. And this is how the business was built, because of me and my hard work. But with that said, guys, I hope everybody liked this video today. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. What I mean? Support the movement and, keep it going. Let's keep this going. We have another video dropping. I think we're going live. Next week. I'll put the post down, let you guys know more information. But make sure you guys link into my. You guys can find me on all the social media platforms: Facebook, No Limit Hauling and Junk Removal; Instagram, No Limit Hauling and Junk Removal; TikTok, where I drop a lot of reels, a lot of shorts, a lot of little videos on TikTok with that game. No Limit Hauling on TikTok. On TikTok, No Limit Hauling. And guys, check out my website, check out my GMB, see what Rank Force is doing for me. You know what I mean? And make it happen. And you guys have probably already seen my ads on Facebook. And you know what I mean? And it's just, they it's not just ads, it's SMS blasting, it's mass email blasting, it's all types of shit. I'm trying to tell you guys, when you link up with these pros, what they do. So with that said, this is the guy, you know what I mean, Mr. Yee Yee. You already know that 707 is the area code, you know what I'm talking about, Solano County. You guys already know what I do, Mr. Yee Yee right there. You already know. With that said, Yee Yee.